welcome Joelle Shepherd. Joelle is my personal love mentor. And give a little background for listeners. This is a new podcast. So this podcast, Love Notes from the Trippy Hippie, is meant to be um, a connection point of bringing some of the magic from my own life forward into meeting more people in the universe. And Joelle is definitely part of that, being my love mentor. And she works with, she's one of Dr. Diana Kirshner's love mentors. And I'm going to um, leave all that expert information in your introduction because you'll do it so much more justice. And just giving a little background about Love Notes from the Trippy Hippie and how it came about is that often I do a lot of meditation and it seems to put me in a very lovey mood. And I send love notes to my friends and I will sign it Love Notes from the Trippy Hippie. And one of my friends had just such a loving note when she shared back to me, that's the name of your podcast. And she said that to me like a year and a half ago. And so finally getting it going. But in that theme, bringing the magic forward, some magical things that have come into my life that I want to share with others to help bring more magic to their life if it feels inspiring for them. I found this love note from the universe, ironically. And it was in a bathroom mirror when I was traveling in Iowa with some friends. And there was just a note that said, what if your fondest dream is small compared to what the universe has in store for you? And so that's going to have some magic, I think, brought through in the theme of this one too. So before I share our magical meet cute story of how I actually met you, I'd love for you to say who you are and what you're about and all of that real quick.
Well, Joelle Shepherd, um, very privileged and happy and honored to be your love mentor. And aw. Um, so I work with people with dating and relationships and finding love for themselves and finding love in their lives and finding love relationships. And I've been a coach for 25 years, and I've worked with Dr. Diana as one of her love mentors for the last 12 years, over 12 years. And I used this beautiful, amazing program too
Oh
to date and marry my husband. So that's
my God.
fun. And then I became a love mentor after that. And I've been so blessed to work with so many women and men
Mm.
to just up their love game, just have
Yeah.
more love in their lives.
And who doesn't want to do that?
And yeah.
Feels amazing. I will just share that you and I have been working together about 4 years, I think total, and maybe even going on our fifth year, possibly. And so, what's really cool about that is that just to give our listeners, like, the journey I think is different for everyone, and I'm sure you'll have more to share about that. But I just want to share so listeners can hear kind of, after all this time I've been working with Joelle, something that I feel really like popped in my life just this month is that the ease and flow and the like leveled up um added energy and I don't even have my partner yet. But added energy and or I haven't found my partner yet, I should say, but um the added energy and play and lightness that comes into our well, it's come into my life as a result of just working with a love mentor, right? And so even these are what the interactions I'm now having in my dating life. I can't imagine what it must be like to have that kind of love and support on a consistent basis from a partner who just knows all of you and just knows how to meet your needs so easily, which we will get into. We're going to talk about some of those TTLC needs and other exciting things. So I just wanted to kind of just put a pin on it and just share with our listeners, like, in the last 5 years, what feels different for me right this moment. And I'd love to share our little magical meet cute story. I think I think you might know some of it. I might have shared some of it in our sessions, but I'm going to lay out the whole story here because I can imagine that people listening have maybe never even heard of a love mentor or don't even know a love mentor exists because I certainly did not. And so I was just having one of these, I guess, moments. It was COVID, it was middle of COVID. One of my friends had moved out of state. And so it was 2020, was not a lot to go or do or safely, where we can go. And I got invited to take some of my PTO and visit. And I thought that was really cool. So I had this long drive up north. And while I was in my car on the drive, I was listening to a podcast. And in particular, I don't remember what podcast it was, but the woman was talking about how she met her partner and it was dating and she was dating and she had talked about like putting on her profile openly that she had a sexually transmitted disease. And I remember her whole story about that was so phenomenal to me because it is actually the reason she found the partner that she found. And you already know some things about me. One of my killer love beliefs is I have to be perfect in order to be loved. So even if I could admit that, I would just make it mean like, if I'm admitting a flaw, I'm making it mean I'm automatically not lovable. So that was kind of my thing. Like anything, I would just be like, I'm not lovable. And she was blowing my mind. So I listened to the podcast and then I had a lot of drive time and I was just thinking. And I had this like download from the universe where, it's like it was speaking to me like, what if the whole universe is conspiring in your favor to find you a partner? And it kind of just felt like, like family or members, they were all gossiping in the ether, like, ooh, this guy would be good for her. Let's see if we can fix them up. Or, and I was just kind of like blown away by that feeling and thought. And I just thought, what if all my ancestors and people in the ether, they are thinking that? And then I just sat with it for a while and then went to see my friend. And I remember the whole weekend I was there, I just kept had this awareness of two things happened. First of all, I sat in my own meditation. I had my own room here, I had plenty of space. And I remember sitting in my meditation, and there was this feeling of like home. Like I'd found my partner and he feels like home. Like again, I'm sitting in meditation and the universe is speaking to me. And I remember my immediate response was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I wear? What do I say? The performative thoughts, right? Like he's going to miss me, obviously, if I don't make it clearly known. And so I just remember like the response being like, did you not hear me? Like it's already done. Like there's nothing you got to do. You just got to like just play and do your thing and it's already done. Because the whole universe is conspiring clearly. So then the rest of the weekend unpacked and I was seeing and I was sensing, even though I had all my own space, I just had all this like chatter come up about me about like I shouldn't be in this person's space. And they're a friend. They never made me feel this way. This is, just my stuff coming up and I'm aware of it. And am I bothering this person? And am I a burden? Whatever. And I'm like visiting a friend. And I made it mean that, hey, it's COVID and I've been away by myself for a long time. And in the starkness contrast of being like immersed with people again, I didn't realize that this is probably a lot of chatter that's been unconscious a long time for me. I love seeing that you nod in recognition. I'm sure you've got lots to share about that, but going forward, I ended up coming back from the trip. I went and had coffee with a friend. She was dating someone. She was looking to get married. And I was telling her like all these feelings came up. And she goes, that sounds like killer love beliefs. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, I'm reading this book called Seal the Deal. She's since been married, by the way. So that's another testimonial for Dr. Diana's book, by the way. So and so I was like, what? Killer love beliefs? What's this book? Let me see it. And it was called Seal the Deal. And at the time, I wasn't looking to get married. So I knew I would never pick up a book like this. Like it just, even if I wanted a partner, I wasn't looking to get married. So it wouldn't have been on my radar. So, but because she mentioned the killer beliefs in it, I decided to take a look at it. And I was probably 20% into it on the first day when I heard about love mentors. And I was like, it's been decided. I'm hiring a love mentor for myself. That was going to be a Christmas gift to myself in 2020. And so I did. And even as I say this now, I think, wow, that's such a lovely thing to gift myself. I'm so loving. So, um, and then that's how I met you. And I'm just curious if you remember me saying this, because my intention, everybody's got their own intentions, I bet, when they come to you, there are reasons why. But I had come to the realization that I didn't believe I was lovable, first of all. And the gift I wanted to give myself is to believe that I was lovable. I don't, the partner was secondary. I just thought it would be growing up feeling like I'm a person who's unloved or a woman who's unloved and living in a world where you're imagining all the ways you're unloved. I just thought, what a different world I would live in. And I would love to gift that to myself. If a partner happens, awesome. I just didn't realize that I was single by choice, or I call it forced choice, meaning that I was single and I was happily single and I didn't feel like anything was missing from my life. But in recognition that I was single because I didn't believe I was loved, it's not really a choice. It's not a free choice. It's more of a forced choice, thinking I don't have options. So, if that makes any sense. So that's how I met you. And that by itself, I think the reason I like to share that story is because the fact that I was just going to that and then I just stumble upon a love mentor, if that doesn't say the universe is conspiring in my favor, I'm not sure what does.
I love that story. I love that story so much. I remember you saying, I'm going to gift this to myself for Christmas. I remember that.
Oh.
And I love that how the universe, the miracles, the magic that unfolds.
I imagine you get to see a lot of magic in that way.
Yes, yes.
So, what a rewarding job you must have to just be able to see people be transformed by love. I'm gonna cry on it just saying that. Oh, that's got to be such a wonderful position to be in.
It is. So much joy and happiness for myself to get to see my clients transform in front of me, and
Mhm.
find their love for themselves, their love for the process, and then to find their partners. I've had so many clients get married, have children if they wanted children, they had children when they didn't think it was ever going to happen. I've had clients who were in relationships where, oh no, or marriages where they were on the last edge, of being together and then rediscover their love for each other, find their love for each other,
Oh my
find that
God.
joy again.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is very rewarding. It's such an amazing experience to have.
And I can
Again, I feel
see
honored.
how
Go
it
ahead.
pulls out into the community, into the
Mm,
people, the lives they touch and more. So, yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Uh,
yes.
so I'd love to hear a little bit more, and I bet everybody else would too, about your relationship with Dr. Diana, what you fully do, reasons people choose to see a love mentor. I mean, I bet there's lots of reasons, and anything else you feel is um, that people really want to hear from you. Yeah.
Well, okay. First off, I have to just say Dr. Diana is amazing. She is a psychologist. She discovered on her journey in psychology that she loved working with people on dating and relationships. That was her passion. And she's written a couple of wonderful books. She's Love in 90 Days, Sealing the Deal that you mentioned. Um, she's an amazing being. I feel very blessed to work with her. And her passion is to help people with love because, as I know it can be so hard to find love, to feel lovable, to find love. And fortunately for me and lots of other people, she decided she wanted to be able to help more people than she could by herself. So she created her team of love mentors. And so I have lovely colleagues that I've worked with for a long time and all positive, supportive, wonderful people. And, all blessed with working with Dr. Diana. So,
Yeah. And
uh,
how did you come to meet her yourself?
oh, well, so that's part of my journey story is that I had been a coach for 10 years, but I still wasn't successful in dating relationships. And one of my dear friends became one of Dr. Diana's love mentors and then told me about the program, and she became my coach. And that's when I started dating my husband. Um, so that's how I found her, is through one of my dear friends that I was doing beautiful, amazing personal growth work with also.
Mhm.
So I feel very blessed on that connection. And that was a synchronistic connection too. The magic was showing up, the universe was supporting it.
Mhm. Awesome.
Yeah. um, so that just part of my journey is once I was with my husband for a couple of years, I was invited to apply and go through training and then eventually become a love mentor. Um, it's what I love about Dr. Diana's program and what I get to do, and it fits so well with who I am, is it's a combination of inner work and outer work. It's the
Mhm.
juicy inner work of becoming who you really are at your best, what we call the diamond self,
Mhm.
but also the practical. How do you have an online dating profile? What's a good profile? How do you actually talk to men or women, depending, and how do you actually have a strategic, practical dating program
Mhm.
and that leads to success? So
Mhm.
it's the inner work, all the inner beautiful, juicy transformation, and then the outer work, the practical living in the day-to-day life and finding, not that the universe always supports, but it's actually taking the steps to create what you want in the
Yeah.
world.
Building that skills, the bridge,
Yeah.
making it the congruency, right, of all that's
Yeah.
there and making it actually come to fruition outside. And like it's love manifest in the words I would
Yes.
describe it. And again, who wouldn't want to build an amazing world of love around you? And I absolutely love the way you describe that. And it's absolutely one of my most favorite parts of working with love mentoring because it's like where the rubber meets the road and like the skills get developed. And one of the things I also really love about this program is that, and I work as a coach too.
Mhm.
So one of the things I loved about this program in particular is that my coaching style is very much mentoring, and I love that about this because I feel like we all human together, and so many of us didn't get taught the skills. And and we just feel it's easy. I guess I can speak from the other side, or maybe you even have input from people you mentor or seeing what people go through, but you can feel it can almost make you feel like a sense of being left out, a sense of inadequacy, a sense of not having enough, a sense of not belonging. And, there's just something so endearing about just having a person just look out for you and help show you the ropes of the world, like a big sister or yeah, I've had some mentors in my life at work, in workplaces, and I've been blessed to be a big sister mentor in my own life. And I just feel like I think when I heard the term love mentor, it's just like I got it. And I so appreciate it how we get to human together. And you wouldn't, I think that a lot of us have the misconception that, especially when we go into relationships, like love is enough. Like I just love that person and that should be enough. But love is a verb. So how do we know how to do that? the feeling of love is not necessarily enough. And the good thing about it is it's a nice place to start. But then what are all the actions we can learn that carry the love forward? So anyways,
And the skills,
yeah.
right? Relationships, it takes intention, it takes effort, it takes um, dedication, takes consistency, it takes a willingness to grow,
Mhm.
right? So, yeah,
Which are three of the criterias, right? Yeah, well, one of the criteria is a willingness to
one of them.
one of
Yeah.
the criterias in the book Love in 90 Days. You want to share a little bit more about criterias, about like basic criteria?
That, yeah. So when you're looking to date someone, the three questions you want to ask are they crazy about me?
Mhm.
Because it's got to start there, right? Are they willing to, do they care about me? Are they willing to put the time and the effort and the intention in? And are they willing to grow? Because we all know that we're not the same person we are now that we were 10 years ago. Everyone's growing always.
Mhm.
So are they willing to grow? And do they meet the basics? Meaning they're a good person, they tell the truth, they're not in a relationship with anyone else. They're you're not settling for someone who's not a good match. They're geographically close, so you're not adding the struggle of a long distance relationship into it. That they're a good person, right? And those are all those three criteria is what you need to meet when you're going out and you're meeting people and you're dating. You want to see if those three criteria are met so that there's a chance that it can work out. There's more to it, but that's a big part of it. It's just, is this a good person? There's a potential.
Mhm. So if somebody is not clear, because that's the one thing this program has taught me is to get clarity in my relationships and communication and stuff. And I will admittedly say that I think that I would miss a lot of the signs in understanding that people, if somebody's crazy about me, sometimes I would miss the signs. And what are some ways people would know if someone's crazy about them? How do you know that?
Oh, well, they make another date with you, right? They call. There's
So I'm not the
effort.
one that has to do it. I'm not the one that has to do all.
No, no, no,
They're going
no.
to offer it back. Yeah, they're going to be taking initiative and efforting.
Yes,
I'd love to add one that you taught me, and that
yes.
that they're reluctant to leave. Like they just
Yeah,
want to linger in your company a little bit.
yeah, yeah,
That was a nice one to learn.
yeah. Yeah. That feeling of being appreciated, right? That feeling, it creates a sense of being appreciated and being cherished and being wanted. All those things. Yeah.
And the program is really good about setting you up for, I'll just share like you mentioned, like they have a willingness to grow. And you mentioned like we're not the same people that we were 10 years ago. And so that willingness to grow will help you grow together in the sense that like one of the most amazing things I learned, like I'm not even the same person I was when I met you. And I remember we were reviewing some TTLC needs one time, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that need anymore. I think it was profound when you said, well, you're healing. You won't have the same needs as you heal. And that was just really telling. And so the program is set up to support many of these things that you're talking about, like understanding, the signs. Is he crazy about me? And what are the signs where, willingness to grow? You'll see yourself grow. And are they a good person? Right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
great program. I've learned so much. And um we started off, when I remember, we started off with a love intention and learning about diamond self. Can you speak to the importance of that in creating,
Well, those are foundational.
right?
That's why we started with them.
Okay.
So your diamonds, we'll start with diamond self. Diamond self is your best self, your ideal self. It's the self that you love and cherish and are proud of, and the self that has your own back, the that's your own divine warrioress or warrior that believes in yourself.
Hmm.
Sometimes because of life, it's hard to get sometimes we end up believing we're not lovable, or we don't have anything to offer as a partner, or nobody will really understand or cherish, or those kind of fears. And those are built on, they come from experience, they come from heartbreak. Life happens and things happen, and we're all humaning together, as you said. And even though we have those fears, that doesn't mean that's all who we are. We're bigger than the fears and the pain and the heartache we've experienced.
Hmm.
And you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You just be your best self. And so we have some exercises to become your diamond self. You want to be something like, oh, I'm, I'll come up with one in a second.
Yes, it'll come.
Yeah. Um, Amazing Grace. I know it's a song, but if you were to feel into being Amazing Grace
Mm,
as a diamond self identity, you're amazing, you're graceful. People appreciate you. People notice you when you walk into a room. When you're your diamond self, you're most charismatic. I mean, we all know people that could be a little shy, but when they're doing what they love, they sparkle, right? Their magic shows.
mhm.
And that's the idea with the diamond self, is you want to be your best self as much as you can. It doesn't mean perfect, and you have to do it perfectly, and you can't have feelings. I mean, be your real authentic self, whoever that is. For
Absolutely.
instance, your magical, amazing sparkliness is just continues to shine and pour out of you. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. It has a lot to do with my love mentor. Help giving me that diamond self name for sure. One of the things that I learned about in the book, and you've taught me too, is the Michelangelo effect. So
Mm,
to me, the diamond self goes hand in hand with that really well. And
mhm.
so I've been able to actually, I would love for you to explain the Michelangelo effect if you don't mind.
It comes from the idea that when Michelangelo was carving a statue,
Mhm.
he didn't impose his will onto it. He said he just chipped away to release what was already there,
Mm,
whatever beautiful statue it was he made, right? Um, so when we are our diamond selves, we treat people from our most positive and loving and with strong boundaries, right? It's like we treat people in a way that evokes their diamond selves, whether they know about a diamond self or not. It just brings out other people's best selves. When you've had a hard day, but you get somebody who's warm and friendly and smiles at you, how
mhm,
that it brings it out in you. You're like, oh, okay, the world's okay. And how we treat other people matters so much. And
mhm.
so when we're in a relationship or we're dating, or with our friends or our family, when we're our diamond selves, it evokes other people's diamond selves too. So that's the Michelangelo effect. And it's so powerful.
It is really powerful. And I love hearing you say this because you said it so perfectly and so eloquently. And being one of your mentees or students, I would just love to say how this has come up in my life in a few different ways. One is that I've gotten so used to the practice of that is that I just remember this one time I think several months ago I went to a dance at the dance studio went to, and for some reason it just felt like I could see everyone's diamond self that night. And it was so transformative in the way that it transformed my world, but also people were treating me so differently because of that. Because like you said, it's like they felt the warmness come out and it brings out the best in them. And part of that is because you help me see always the best in myself. And, one of the things that I struggled with, we all come from different backgrounds, different traumas and stuff. But one of the things that I grew up believing that everything bad in the world was my fault. And so part of my diamond self name, you helped me to realize positive paranoia.
Mm.
So when I started practicing that and living up to my diamond self name, like I just wasn't able to see that anybody was actually like coming at me thinking it's my fault. They just were like, they had such positive regard for me because I had that positive regard and they were meeting me in that space and creating new worlds right there. It was so transformative. And likewise, I used to feel like, being able to hold a diamond self space and bring it out in other people. I remember talking to guys and, guys are innocently being guys. Sometimes they have 12-year-old sense of humor. They're guys. I don't really mean anything by it, but I was going to say I learned to be able to speak my boundary in not a defensive way, but like I've learned my diamond self has learned to nurture and love and see the best aspects of my inner child. And therefore, I'm able to see that about others too and hold that positive regard and positive paranoia and just be able to share things like, I love how genuine you are. And yeah. I'm not going to love everything you say. I think I say it in a cheeky way, like, I love how genuine you are. And then I joke back and say, heck, I don't even love everything I say, but I'm still adorable. And that's what I mean by like, you just have that positive paranoia and positive regard. And then they're able to see, oh, yeah, like nothing's wrong. I'm a genuine guy and I'm open hearted and vulnerable. And she's going to tell me what she likes to hear, without
Right.
defensiveness on either side. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just been transformative. And that's just in conversation. I can't imagine what it's like to be, I can, I'm working on imagining what it's like to be with that all the time, just having that positive regard and that, with that positive paranoia, it makes everything feel more lighter and more playful. Would you like to add anything to the positive
Oh,
paranoia?
just that, I love that. I love that term positive paranoia because paranoia, of course, is afraid that everyone's out to get you, right? Or something bad's going to happen. And positive paranoia is the choosing to believe and then making it becomes easier and easier as you practice it, that the people around you do love you, do care about you. The men you're dating are good people. Doesn't mean go in with blinders. You still have to pay attention, right? And check and like you said, boundaries. Boundaries are important. Say what you want, but with the intent, with the belief that they're good people,
Mm-hmm.
that things are going to turn out for the best. Whether you're dating someone and it does, you date a few times and then you say goodbye because you eventually come to know you're not a match. That's still a good outcome,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. And from the other side, practicing, what you're teaching me,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let our listeners know, like, I've dated people that have specifically said, thank you. I feel like so respected. And I love how they respectfully honor my choices. Like, they believe, like, they want good things for me, even if it's not them. And I feel the same way too. And so it just changes that flow of dating and moving to the next person. And it's not that anything's wrong. It's just that one of the benefits I think of doing this work, like you said, it's the inner work becoming, building it outer, is that I've gotten to know myself and my needs so well that I can meet great guys and there's nothing wrong with them, but I just know that who they are and what their life is about is not going to meet my needs. And that's not fair to anybody to make force that, you know? So force it to be more just because I've talked with girlfriends and they sometimes don't understand. They're like, but he's emotionally available. He's this, and this, and like you should, make these other little things work. And you can, and they might be a lot of work, or you can be like, I know myself well, and there's other people that are going to meet that need easily for them without it being a lot of work for either of us, much like some of your best friendships are.
Yeah. There's such a, there's a couple schools of thought about ideal partner, which is some people believe that the only way a relationship will work is if you're perfect for each other. And some people say, oh, well, um, whoever you're with, make that work, right?
Okay.
But there's a middle ground. There's finding someone who's a good match and then doing the work to make the relationship happy and healthy and successful and fulfilling.
I love that. Thank you for saying that discernment. I think that's so beautiful. And I think a lot of people that will resonate with them, that middle ground space. And, we do sometimes live in such a either or black or white when one of the things I found, the more healing I do is how nuanced and complex life is,
Mm.
and how there is really kind of not kind of, but probably infinite little steps in between those two places. But in what's the middle ground, almost like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, that middle ground's going to lie different places for everybody, and it's important to honor your journey and what feels right to you. And at the heart of it too, the three criteria, you mentioned spiritual life. Well, that's part of the willingness to grow, right?
Well, yeah, part of willingness to grow is things like, are they self-reflective? Had they have a mentor at work? Um, are they in some kind of support group, or are they always learning? Are they, and then a spiritual life. If that's important to you, having a spiritual life is going to be important in your partner too.
Got it.
Doesn't have to be the same exact beliefs. Like we can be complementary. We don't have to believe exactly the same things,
Hmm.
but they have to be, it wants to be, we want to be complementary. We want a win-win. We want our partner to be happy. We want them to be fulfilled. Um, Maybe one person's um, finds their fulfillment in church, and maybe person finds their fulfillment in yoga, but it needs to be complementary where you're embracing the spirituality to add to your life.
Hmm. Has a very expansive feel.
Yes, yes.
I love that. I just had a question, and oh, I know what it is. So one of the things that's unique to, I think, the Love in 90 Days is the dating of three. And
Mm.
I would just so love for you to unpack why that works. And it is such, not just why that works or, what it's about, but it's the importance of it, because that is so important. There's all kinds of dating advice and different things out there, but I I gotta admit that dating of three is life-changing on so many levels, and I'd love for you to unpack that a little bit if you don't mind.
So, um, when you date one person, it's like you have blinders on and and we're talking not relationships, we're talking dating when you're trying to meet your one, right? So when you're only dating one person, all your eggs are in one basket. You're looking at just that person. There's it's like you have blinders on to other possibilities. When you date three people, you get to experience what it's like to be with those three different people. You get to discover, does this person bring out my diamond self? Do I feel listened to? Do I feel heard? If I ask for what I'd like, do they respond? You get to compare and contrast. And part of what you're comparing and contrast is how you feel with them. Not, you're not judging them. It's more of, is this flowing? Is this working? When you're dating three people, you're also, if it ends, if one of the relationship ends because of your choice or their choice, you're not going to be devastated as much as if you're only dating one person.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're just getting to know people, we have fairy tales. It's like you meet your prince and you fall in love, and that's it, right? And that we get caught in that story.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is when we're dating one person that we, oh, all of our hopes and dreams can get wrapped up in that. And then that can lead to heartbreak if it doesn't work out. And that heartbreak can slow you down to find your partner. So a lot of times people think, oh, it's so slow to date three people. I just want to meet the one. Well, this is part of the process to meet the one, right? And as you're doing that, you're getting more and more clarity about what works for you, when you feel fulfilled, when you feel heard, when you feel listened to, when being with them brings out your diamond self. I mean, it's that Michelangelo effect, right? They can, do they respond to your positives? Do
Mm-hmm.
they respond to your diamond self, or do you feel shut down? Or do they do things where you're like, okay, I can't do this. This doesn't work for me. It's, you're meeting people to learn about yourself and what you need from a relationship. And you're going out to have fun. You don't want to approach it like a job interview. You want to go out and you want to have fun. You want to see who this person is.
Mm-hmm. It's not
Every
really tied to a result. Like there's not a lot of it's got to work. You're white knuckling it. Like,
Yeah, there's not, you're not coming from, oh, good point. You're not coming from a point of desperation
yeah.
or scarcity. You're saying, oh, there's lovely people in the world and I want to go meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the rules for dating three people is that you're upfront about it. You're saying, I'm dating slowly. I want to find a great relationship, but I promise myself to take it slowly. So I'm dating more people. Um, Not quite the way you would say it, but it's close. You say, I'm taking it slowly. How's dating going for you? So you're just at the beginning, you're indicating that we're not exclusive,
Yeah.
right? We're just dating right now.
Yeah.
And it, then also, oh, whoops, a thought just went. Whoop.
Not
Oh, so
to-
not scarcity.
Yeah.
So that adds to that heartbreak of like, oh my God, if we're not going to match, there's nobody out there for me. Well, you have to get to a place in your diamond self where you can see that your diamond self is charismatic, that you believe that there's people out there. Um, and not just scarcity, but also choice. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of time, oh, so the fairy tale also is the woman sits and waits to be chosen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas empower, empower your heart, empower your being, and be the chooser. Say, there's an abundance of wonderful men out here. Who do I want to be with?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
comes from that place of choice
Yeah.
instead of, oh, I have to wait to be the princess and be chosen.
Mm-hmm. I love that so much because one of the things that has been really integrated into my being from working with a love mentor is that not just in love, but in my whole life, where there is love, there is choice. Where there's choice, there's love. And I just love how that has been a result of working with you and in love mentoring. Something else I really want to speak upon that you talked about is, for me in the dating of three, there's a few things that come up for me. First of all, it is paradoxical because people want to give all their attention to one relationship and make it work out. And they do think that's the fast way to it. And then they think that they're making no progress while they're dating three people out at once because they seem short and shallow relationships when they're actually not. Like you said, you get to know yourself through knowing another, and you really get to know your TTLC needs, tough and tender loving care needs, very well, and they grow and change. But so it is paradoxical. But one thing that I just want everybody to hear about what's so valuable about that is that the paradox of that is that you're valuing your time. I've noticed if I let one person take up too much of my time before I really, like you said, you put all your eggs in one basket, you're investing your time in them versus investing your time in you. And that is so, I found that as a way to value my time, which when you value your time, it really says how much you value yourself. I have found that to be the dating of three, just so I call it quantum healing because because again, you do learn those things about yourself very quickly. I think some dating coaches actually call it quantum dating, even in fact, I think it's been called that. But one other thing that, I just want to share with listeners on something that it healed for me is that, I grew up in a family with some narcissism, and diagnosed narcissism. So I know that's a term people like to throw around a lot. And but even still, even if it's not diagnosed, it's some selfish habits that you're working around selfishness in a partner, probably, or some immature things. But I want to share that for me, it's been profoundly healing in the way that it has helped me with, if you have a dynamic with some narcissism in it, your focus is completely on the other person and not on yourself. And I developed what I would call some hypervigilance in my relationships. And I think one of the most healing things about it is because it does take the time and value and resources to focus on me. I've been able to break that hypervigilant pattern, which I can't say enough about how that really helps take our nervous systems out of fight or flight with others. And so I mean, hey, I wanted to live in a loving world, and I'm healing of these things. And all in all, when I talked about where I was this week versus where I started and how I've been feeling about some of my relationships, I just want to let our audience know that, our listeners know that, part of that came through, I did a little bit of work in which Joelle helped me really establish my connection and my intention with relationships. And that is to create relationships where where I feel seen, heard, and valued. And that makes a difference in all my relationships out in the world. And I don't think I've specifically said it, but she calls me magical, and that's in my diamond self name. But also, that's where the mermaid came from. Is there anything you can share or unpack about the mermaid in the diamond self name, or
In
um,
your name?
sure, my name, or or what's represented by mermaid? And I mean, I know I'm the magical mermaid. I bet there's
Oh.
sparkly mermaids and all kinds. Um, because that's part of my name. I just was, and people, and I do share that, I openly, because you've helped me create my diamond self for my business as well. And so the magical mermaid is a big part of spreading light and more in my coaching business. So I do like to use that openly. But is there anything you can share about that in particular?
So mermaid is an archetype, right?
Mhm.
And mermaid is an archetype of beauty, flow, um, authenticity. There's some wildness because mermaids aren't domesticated. They live in
Right?
the ocean, right? There's flow. Like I love the mural or your
Oh,
paintings
yes, that's
behind
great.
you.
The wild
Yeah.
ocean behind me.
Yeah. And it's about being present and real and authentic and mermaids also value themselves a lot. They know they're mermaids and they're proud of being mermaids.
Oh, I like that. And I like that because thank you for sharing that. I don't mind sharing my diamond self name because you just painted a really good connection about maybe some of those things that were like you said, if somebody's shy, they're in there, right? But that Michelangelo effect, just the name and bringing more of that out. It's in like you said, it is more of my authentic self. And ironically, I'll add on part of the mermaid thing being that, and you've seen this over and over. I have to face this in my dating where I'm having to speak my voice. And that is in the archetype. You see the Little Mermaid, and she gives up her voice to have the things that she wants on land. It's a sacrificial kind of archetype. And so anyways, that is a big part of what I've been practicing, for myself and helping other ladies as well, speak their voice and from their soul, their authentic selves. So, Joelle, I'm going to have some questions I would love to ask you that I like to ask my guests on that theme. But before I
Okay.
anything else you wanted to share about love mentoring that I may have missed out that you think people
Well, we started, you did ask me this, but we tangented,
we flow,
magically tangented.
we flow.
We flowed, yeah.
You
Which
know
is
me so well.
well, the love intention,
Yeah,
right?
thank you
Um,
for
the
bringing it.
love intention, so it's kind of, another way to say this is who are you being and what do you want? What are you, if you have a goal, who are you being to create that goal?
Hmm.
So we talked about the diamond self, which is who are you being? And the love intention is what is your goal? What do you want in a relationship? And that takes self-awareness. Um, the it's a useful thing to have a love intention. It's your goal in one sentence, maybe 10 words or less, and in the present tense. So something like my perfect for me partner or husband and I um, live a life full of uh, have a fulfilling, successful marriage and live a life, uh, uh, fulfilling life. I think I said fulfilling twice there. Filled
Really
with
fulfilling.
fulfilling life of including art, music, children, and service to the world. Something like that.
Yeah,
It's like close picture and big picture at the same time. It's what do you have to go on a little inner journey to figure out what it is you really want
yeah.
from a love intention.
I think this is really important. Thank you so much for remembering to bring us back to that. This is a really important piece. And even in some of the relationship coaching that I've done, sometimes I talk about the fact that, a lot of times we get together in a relationship. Like I think when I was really young and we'd get together and we'd be like, the purpose of our relationship is to get married and have kids. Well, and I think that sometimes that's why you can see at the end of that, a lot of times the relationships will end after the kids, we did it. Now what, right?
Right. There was no inclusion of that personal fulfillment and joy and happiness. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just think that and I think, and you correct me or clarify, but sometimes I think your intentions can actually even change a little bit as a couple together. You move
Well,
deeper
yeah.
into it.
That's
Yeah.
the willing to grow part,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we don't know what we don't know, so we grow together, we have kids, and then we go, or, okay,
Yeah.
the kids are older, have their own lives. Okay, now what do we want in our lives?
Exactly. I love that so much. And I might be paraphrasing, but I remember in one of Dr. Diana's books, she shared, I thought, a beautiful love intention. And again, paraphrasing, but I think she said at the time hers was that they grow more in love, deeper in love every single day. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And I'm going to take it back to the beginning, remembering something I very first learned from you when you were like, tell all your friends you're willing to be hooked, you're willing for a setup, tell them you're looking, because, your friends know you well and stuff like that. And so I'm actually going to share my love intention right now for our listeners. Maybe somebody has someone they can fix me up with. I'm taking it big now. I'm just taking your advice and going big with it. And it is in the present tense. And I actually really love my love intention. Of course, it's mine. It's very from my heart. But our love is friendship set on fire, and being with you feels like home. And I do really love that. And coincidentally, I do find where the relationships are a little bit deeper and deeper as I'm dating, like this is a really fun friendship. And it's moving towards that set on fire. And I feel more at home in my body and safe and able to open up and be that diamond self that, and just share, just to give, feedback, like real-time feedback. I like to share what I'm, since I work with you, what I'm experiencing in my life. And this last date I went on this last weekend, I just want to share with everyone that, at the end, the guy actually thanked me for being so authentic, and he just said he felt so comfortable that I feel so real. And, who knows where it will go? We had a good friendship, and that's kind of what he said when he followed up. He's like, I enjoyed hanging out with you and getting to know you. And, I think I'd like to do it again sometime. And it's very natural, not that whole, like, I would say before I worked with any love mentoring skills, I think what you, like you said, you get the fantasy and what's supposed to happen in the movies. And I would see a lot of what I would call love bombing and future faking. And now I just have something that's more real, whether it works out or not. They're just real relationships, and they feel really good, and they're closer to that intention. So I'm just wanting to share how that's coming more and more to fruition there. So thank you for that. Anything else before I ask the magical questions?
Go ahead with magical questions.
Okay. So I'd be curious to know, I'd love to hear, and listeners as well. How did you find your voice? I mean, you started as a coach, 25 years ago, and I'd love to hear a little bit of a journey about that and where you are now
Well,
developing,
actually,
finding your
I started in IT actually.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Which wasn't my voice. So finding my voice was a journey of um, personal growth, dance,
Ooh,
and a creativity, things I'd never done, I hadn't grown up with, um, that were very authentic and freeing and real and in the moment and flowing and magical and mermaidy. And I just followed my bliss. Joseph Campbell has that beautiful
yeah.
saying about following your bliss. And it's that creative spark, that joy that comes from doing that. And that's how I eventually found my voice, right? And I knew that I wanted, when coaching was starting back then, I was like, this feels like the right place to go. So I did. And
Mm.
just the journey has brought me to that.
I love that because I'm hearing a lot of intuition in that. And
Yes.
that's something you very much have taught me about, and I do my best to also share that. Look at these mentoring skills just going on and on and on in the world. And similarly, I help my clients design a soul compass so they register that spark, but also bringing in their body, but just sort of having this little guidance that's created from their own soul. So I love that so much, and I do and follow very much the same. So um, there was something else I thought I heard in there, but if it comes back, I'll bring it back. Uh, so. And what is the joy you discovered in following your voice with such ease and flow, it sounds like?
Ease and flow is, personal growth is a journey. Some days are easy and
Relative.
flowing, and sometimes there's resistance, and sometimes then there's breakthrough to resistance, and then sometimes there's flow. Um, the joy is, I found, was finding my own spark of my own creativity and my own purpose.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like what I'm doing is right on purpose for me. I love helping people with love and
Mm.
joy and happiness and fulfillment, and success.
So it sounds like the joy is that being just on par all the time with what makes you feel fully alive.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I think everybody wants that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. We do, don't
Right?
we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and I really love how you mentioned, when I talk about ease and flow, I love how you talked about like the personal growth journey, that it's full of resistance and it's not always easy. Um, like you mentioned in the beginning, like the commitment to love and dedication. I like to put those words together and call them a devotion, and
Mhm.
just staying the course, the reward being that when we're able to stay that course and carry our equilibrium and develop our skills and increase our tolerance and capacity to have and all of those things, that life does feel like it has more ease and flow. But I love how you didn't gloss over that part, that those are that's part of it. I like to say that's part of the flow, actually. I just try to like just make it mean that it's part of the flow, so for me, so I don't get caught up in it, because I can get caught up in it. It's so hard sometimes. Like I remember, just like you know um relationships, even with ourselves, they come together, they come apart a little bit, and you always come back together, and every time you come together, it comes together a little bit closer. And I just always try to remind myself that, like a wave going out and you have low tide, it's just part of the flow.
Well, and part of the blessing that happens with that, I loved how you went, okay, the part and then come back together. Every time you come back together and it gets better, there's more trust built.
Yes.
It deepens
Good.
because that trust comes from time and experience.
Yeah. So good. Thank you for that reminder. So good. So good. Um, what is magical about your life and yourself that you embrace on the regular?
Hmm. I would say my life, it's very different now than I ever expected it to be as a little, young person. I'm living when I was a kid, I wanted a great marriage and a great career where I was helping people, and I'm living it.
Mm.
That's the magic. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think following the flow, following the magic, following the intuition, that's part of the magical part, or how did you magical about how I'm choosing to live. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, from similarly from where I've been too, I love that you say that, because it hasn't been always easy for me to follow that flow or follow my intuition. Again, I was met with resistance in speaking my voice and, following my intuition. So to be able to have the freedom to do that,
Mhm.
that in itself just feels like such an amazing blessing, as like you've said, and you're kind of flowing into your whole dream life.
Mhm. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool. Um, how do you love and how do you like to be loved?
I love with a lot of warmth and nurturing and devotion, as you said, great word, devotion. Um, and I love and I'm supportive.
Oh,
Yeah. How I like to be loved is to be believed in and feel like I have someone I can count on. My husband's a really strong, amazing man, and I can count on him. He's there, he's consistent. I can count on him. He believes in me, you know, perfect. Not that we don't have to grow together. We still have to grow together, right? We're always another way, there's like when you're in a relationship, you're like raw stones. It's not quite the right, but then you tumble together through life and you polish each other.
I think that's beautiful. I love that. And tumble together through life is, accurate, I think. I mean, I even think of my relationships with my little sisters that I've had with big brothers, big sisters. We're tumbling together through life. So, I like to think, be mindful of who I want to tumble with.
I like it. Yeah,
Gotta be
because you're going to
tumbling.
get polished anyway, right?
Right, right. No, I love that. And that is just such a beautiful definition. And I can say I really feel that. Like, I think that's one of the things that, and we have relationships, not just love relationships, but all of them are also love relationships, different levels of intimacy, right? But I can for sure say I feel very supported. And you have taught me very much to know what that looks like and feels like. So it is very hard to settle for anything less than that. And that is one of my big TTLC needs. Tough and tender loving care needs. They are in the book. And so, yeah, that's so good. So good. I love all of that. And what dreams have you realized in your lifetime? I know you mentioned living, the relationship and marriage and career. Are there any other dreams you've realized in your lifetime that you'd like to share that you have been able to see come to fruition?
Um, I've gotten to play a lot. I've played
Ooh.
a lot with music and dancing, and
Mhm.
those were not part of my younger life,
Mhm.
except for the, music on the radio. But I've gotten to play with that. It's not, it's something that brings me joy
Mhm.
and creativity. I've some of the dreams I know that I'm still. Oh, well, another dream is I've always, when some of my, or another dream, a smaller dream, was to travel more
Mhm.
and explore.
Mhm.
And one of the wonderful things about my husband is he loves to do that. So I don't have to do it all by myself. I don't have to figure it all out by myself. He handles that part. He says, let's go. So we've been traveling more.
Oh,
Um, and it's such a joy to go to places and explore and experience, right? It's like, oh, I've heard about that, or I've seen it on YouTube or whatever, right? It's, oh, wow. That wasn't part of my upbringing too much
so
about traveling.
travel and not just travel by itself. I mean, that is your dream, but what I'm hearing is that you two do a lot of dreaming together.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, uh, what do we want for our life?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So these are things I aspire to. I bet you already knew that knowing my TTLC needs about the playing and the dreaming and the creating.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I know you want a really creative partner who wants to create with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Create, more fun, playful exploration, just much like you mentioned. And yes, and I think that's something I didn't know about you that we actually kind of share about that playfulness, which also helps me also understand how come you probably get that part of me so easily.
Yeah.
Hope that I'm going to have a life full of more and more play. I already do, by the way. It's like incremental as I'm growing. But if you look at how much I play now versus, 4 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago. So already my life is more blissful. Any dreams you would still like to see come to fruition for
Oh,
you?
I think that'd be more travel.
Any dream destination you want to put out there into the universe that you're.
Oh, yes. My husband I haven't been to Europe yet.
Ooh.
I'm, I've got that romantic. I want to go to the romantic cities, I'm a romantic.
Oh, that's so adorable. I love that. Oh, so romantic cities. So I think that just to wrap this up a little bit, I was going to say if anybody wants to comment on some romantic cities Joelle must visit when they're in Europe,
Oh, yes.
they can put
Yes,
that in
yes.
the comments of it. I'll also make sure that we include comments or links for maybe how to have a session with you.
Yes,
Like that.
absolutely.
So when we put this up, we'll get all that out there. I so appreciate your time. And I have a feeling that there's so many other people that are just going to be so touched and so grateful that they got to learn about love mentoring today. And you and Dr. Diana, any last words of wisdom or anything else you would like to add?
Just that life's a journey. And if you have goals or dreams, take steps towards them and get the support you need for it. You know, we
Mhm.
don't know what we don't know.
Yeah. I love that you said that too, because you talked a lot during this interview about the inner and outer work and then being support. And so I just want to share that that is actually one of the biggest steps that I had to take. If I wanted to live in a supportive universe, I needed to take action that would support myself. And hiring a love mentor is the first thing that I did to do that. I mean, maybe I was doing it before, but it's the first really intentional big action step that I did to create more of a supportive universe. And, I hire coaches and I love coaches and I see the value in it. I also feel like sometimes we really try to it's kind of ingrained in our culture, like to do it ourselves. And it's I mean, we're on the journey. Why not make it the most enjoyable that you can? And that, soup it up with some really great, spectacular people to hang out with along the way and just make it so enjoyable. And so I am so grateful that I met you and I get to be on the journey with you. And again, I want to thank you so much for all of your time today. And to be continued because I have more love mentor sessions coming up.